My name is Patrick Lindeman, Ingham County Drain Commissioner. I've been elected since 1993. And one of the first things that I did when I took office was to generate a change in policy that required us to inspect the drains rather than just react to broken drains. And this reaction approach that was previously done cost millions of dollars, whereas by our approach in trying to fix things before they become expensive costs nickels on the dollar. Now, that policy has changed in many ways, and the policy of how we build infrastructure has changed. And I try to mimic nature instead of just building concrete pipes and piping the water to the river unabated and that kind of thing, which is done all over the country today. We create things like you see behind us, wetlands for holding ponds, and we mimic nature, we provide habitat, and so on. In order to make sure that that process that I have created in the policy change actually works, is I contacted a guy by the name of David Misfid.
I'm the senior herpetologist with Herpetological Resource and Management. I'm very fortunate to have my own company doing what I love, which is conducting inventories, habitat restoration, monitoring of ecosystems. So when we work on a project such as Daniel's Drain, we come in early on the project. We will do what's called a desktop review. We look at the landscape, we look at the adjacent habitats, we see what species may be present. We learn a little bit about what the goals and objectives of the client is, in this case, water quality improvement and overall landscape improvement. So we assist with aspects of restoration as part of that, based off of our preliminary findings from our desktop review, which we're looking at computer-based software, Google Earth, and different metrics like that. Then we conduct field surveys. We come out, look at the landscape, look at the ecosystem, the overall health of that habitat, and then advise on ways to improve it or what you don't need to touch. Sometimes habitats are deceivingly healthy even though they don't meet what our expectations of high quality might be. So in some cases, we're trying to just maintain the status quo. When you have a more urban landscape, having even generalist species on the landscape can sometimes be challenging. So we definitely want to encourage projects that also are accounting for your green frogs, your American toads, your garter snakes, your snapping turtles and painted turtles. While other projects that we have, we also have opportunities to have more sensitive or rare species such as Blanding's turtles on them, where we're encouraging different components and landscape characteristics to encourage those species as well.
David Misfid, or Turtle Dave, is probably one of the state's premier herpetologists, and he knows more about frogs and turtles and snakes and all the different critters that can be created in these fake ecosystems. We try to mimic nature, and thereby we need help doing that from an expert like Dave. Dave has been wonderful because his vast knowledge has been instrumental in us saving money and creating public activity in and around our infrastructure, which is almost unheard of.
When I first met Pat, I could tell right away, this is a person who thinks differently. He's thinking outside of the box. He is a drain commissioner, but he is taking the landscape approach to watershed management and drain management. And one of the things that he stressed when we had our initial conversations is that he knows the science and the engineering. He wants to have experts in the fields of wetland plants, wetland invertebrates, as well as amphibians and reptiles on his team to make sure that they're creating the most holistic project that they can.
We do several things in terms of what we call Phase 2 of the Federal Clean Water Act. It requires us to do educational opportunities for people. So our infrastructure projects, such as this one, we get people like Turtle Dave to process this information, and we make signs and different educational material for people to live and learn by it. We also have cartoons that talk about pollution and that kind of thing that come right off of our website. It's not unusual to see a whole classroom down here or at any one of these drains that I've built, to see a whole classroom with a teacher teaching about how to handle stormwater within an urban area.
Can you see the geese?
Look at the geese.
Oh, and the dagger.
And a blackbird too, yeah.
People recreate and they learn by reading the signs. They learn by just walking around, whether they read a sign or not. It's not unusual either to have groups of people come down here and do plein air painting. You'll see artists along the sidewalks here or along the pathways with their easels set up painting different parts of this. And so it's recreational in many, many ways.
It's the intrinsic, it's the experiencing the blue heron on the boardwalk as we see here, watching a turtle basking, the communing with nature, the experience of just being present that these projects afford people that traditionally many projects would just simply be hydrologic conveyance, move water from A to B in as quick a manner as possible so it doesn't flood an area. These projects are thoughtful and calculated and provide opportunities for folks to experience nature, to recommune and connect with their landscapes, and to have overall better qualities of life.
Throughout the years, we have improved drainage throughout this whole county. Now, understand that the drainage started to be built back in the 1850s, 1840s, somewhere in there, and it's been expanded upon between 1900 and 1930 extensively. And all of those old infrastructure ideas is what these subdivisions are all built about, or are all built on, and those are all concrete pipes under the ground. What we have today is far better than that, I think. We handle the water through this mechanism called functional ecosystem management. And this is, don't have any mistake about this not being a stormwater system. This is a stormwater system, but it looks like a park, and it feels like a park, it smells like a park. The ecosystem value of this facility and others like it, because of the help of Turtle Dave and other experts within the field of wetland management and so on and so forth, has helped us design and push forward a new infrastructure concept, and that is soft infrastructure rather than all hard.
So I think the takeaway message is that the work that the Ingham County Drain Office does and the work that their project partners such as Herpetological Resource and Management and their engineers, their wetland scientists, the work that we do collectively and collaboratively not just gets the water from A to B, but creates a better landscape for the wildlife, but also for the people who live within those drain districts. The takeaway message I would love for people to know is that these projects are thoughtful, they're calculated, and in many cases they are more cost savings than traditional approaches to water movement. And I think that's an important take home, is that these projects ultimately and quite often save money and create overall better quality of lives for the people who live in these communities as well as the wildlife who share the landscape with us.
We create ecosystems rather than concrete infrastructure. Within this infrastructure that I built, stormwater infrastructure, we can find at any given time an eagle or a deer, a beaver, a muskrat, a turtle, a frog, a bat, you name it, dragonflies, butterflies, all kinds of different things are in this ecosystem. And at the same time, it becomes a home for all those critters. It also moves water from point A to point B without flooding or putting a drop of water in the Red Cedar River.